Hello there, listeners, and welcome to the inaugural, the first ever Smarks Nest podcast. That's right, the old arcade, the old oil house. We're doing a podcast about wrestling, like we have a clue about that. So this is my project, but I'm not alone. I am Ross, DHD Scott. Here I am, rock you like a Rossicane, and with me I have.
You have Bada Boom, realest guy in the room, Mikey B.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah. So me and Mike are basically going to take you through the world of wrestling, generally talking about what happened in the last week, because wrestling's a big world and we could be here for days. So we're going to talk about what happened in the weeks gone, what's the news, what happened on the shows, what's been interesting, what's been boring, not just Roman Reigns. But we're going to go through bit by bit, see what's going on. So what did you think overall? Have you watched a lot of wrestling this week, Mike?
I have. I watched it in the order of Raw, then SmackDown, then NXT.
See, I can't do it that way. I have to watch NXT in the middle.
That's what I usually do, but then I came to a realisation that I hadn't watched SmackDown or NXT, and then I sort of just turned on my telly and SmackDown was on, so I was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be, it must be. So I did, but yeah, I think it's growing again. It's another fairly decent week. Yeah,
I would agree with you. I'm kind of in two minds at the moment, because this week felt to me like a lot like the pay-per-view Payback did, where it was a lot of good wrestling, but not a lot happened, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go straight on to Raw. So I've got a couple of notes for what happened to Raw. Now, like I said, Raw, I thought the wrestling, start to finish, fantastic, but overall nothing really kind of went forward. Well, I haven't got it in order, but I'll just pop my notes down. So the first thing I've got is Big Cass, 8-man tag. What did you think?
I liked the fact that Cass got his spot, despite what happened to Enzo. I think because Cass, if he wasn't with Enzo and it didn't work so well, he could be in the heavyweight championship frame, no doubt.
Oh yeah, I mean, is it just me, or does he look like someone put Edge on a rack? He looks like an elongated Edge to me.
Now you've said it. Yeah, totally see that. Someone get Photoshop up, let's do something.
Yeah, we definitely need to. But the thing is with that, I thought that the setup was quite good. I did feel a little bit sorry for Cass because their music hit, the crowd goes mental, obviously because they're hoping to see Enzo because of the injury that happened to him at Payback. But only Cass came out and the crowd kind of went, hey, yeah, yay. Oh.
We like him.
Yeah, we still like him, he's not Enzo, but yay. But I thought the match was... It started off well and it ended well, but it went way too long. Which is a shame. This is the thing. When you get past the 2-man tag matches, they don't know how to keep the fun up on them. If you ask me.
Yeah, I think it's a bit like on 2K16. Whereas when you put in you start to get a 6-man, 8-man tag, things like that. It's like every time someone gets a pin, you can guarantee that you're going to see 3 other men running in and get it up, and it's like this is going on forever. Yeah,
it's going to have to go like explode, and everyone's going to have to fight everywhere before you can know you're going to get actual finish out of it.
Yeah, but I agree with you completely. Though I thought it started really well. I thought it was interesting. I wasn't expecting that match. So
no, me neither.
And then the end was good as well. And yeah, I mean, Big Cass kind of reminded me a little bit of Kevin Nash actually.
No, I can see that actually. The kind of. To me, though, he's still got a little bit of fear in his eyes. I don't know what it is, but when he's doing promos, he looks absolutely terrified.
I think I would be too if, like, this guy Enzo Amore was running around me in circles and you didn't know what he was going to do next.
Honestly, I loved that. I think it was a week or two before when he said that line of, I want things that I can't have. I want to run down a beach into my own arms, but that's not going to happen. I lost my shit. That was such a good line. Swear to God. But actually, while we're in there, I must say... big props to the Vaudevillains for coming out and basically kind of ripping on Enzo for getting injured. Keeping it kayfabe, because Enzo won't mind that. Keeping it kayfabe and getting a bit of heat off it. I really dug that, because I'm actually quite a big Vaudevillains fan.
Yeah, definitely.
But the only thing, what do you think of the Vaudevillains entrance music?
Yeah. It's different, isn't it? It's very, very different.
To me, it kills them, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it was never great in NXT either, but it's rough.
I think with the whole package with the Vaudevillains, I think there's a problem. I think it can work for a period of time, no pun intended, but it can work for a certain period of time, but I think it can die very quickly as well. So I just wonder, they put all this effort into these characters which are great, but I do think in the WWE, after a period of time, that type of character will be like, yeah, we've had that now, and where are they going to go from there? It'll be interesting, because I do like them.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I actually really like the Vaudevillains. It's like one of the current t-shirts, the only two t-shirts I've got currently are Kevin Owens and the Vaudevillains. I love them both. But I can see what you mean. There's not a lot of longevity in a hokey gimmick like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit better put together than Los Matadores, but it's in the same kind of league, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ole! But like I said, I just wish there would. I think that the entrance is such an important part now of it. A lot of it's down to the entrance. If the entrance is cool, people will get behind it. And it's just that music. I think the entrance is cool with the guy, and he says he introduces them both. But when the music kicks in, it's nothing. And I think they need to have something like. Have you seen the Sherlock Holmes movies?
Yes.
And they've got that kind of weird music. It's really upbeat and up-tempo and kind of frenetic, but with that kind of Sherlock Holmes feel to it.
Yeah.
And they need something like that for the Vaudevillains, because they come down and it's just a lot of kind of big noises rather than music, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that I think it worked at first, but then you start to realise, well, actually, it's not getting us excited.
No,
it's not getting us into the whole mix of what you're trying to do, which is a bit of an issue for them, I think. But yeah, I mean, as a team, the entrance needs some working on, but as a team, I think they do some really good stuff. And I must say, while we're here and while we're talking about the Vaudevillains, some of the stuff, I mean, you expect abuse on Twitter, but some of the stuff that was said on Twitter about them botching the match and they caused the injury directly to Enzo, look at those things. Yeah, they got some real abuse.
I see. I know that's one thing. I'm Facebook, but I'm not Twitter. That was no one's fault. That.
No, it happens in this business, and actually the first people on Twitter to come and defend them, like literally as soon as they saw it, were the Dudleys, who obviously what can happen. So definitely not their fault. It's no one's fault.
Just not. I mean, like I say, unless someone does something on purpose, yes, people can get injured. The whole thing about Ryback injuring CM Punk, but it's never intentional. And if it's not intentional, don't give someone shit for it. They're trying, eh? Right.
Exactly.
Well, we'll move on from that, because, like I say, it was what it was. It was a decent 8-man tag, but it was what it was. Now, the next I've got down is Shane and Stephanie come down and don't really do anything. This stuck in my craw a little, because you've got the whole. At first, Payback, they say that they're going to be co-GMs, which I'm like, that's a cop out, because it's just keeping the status quo. And then they come out and they agree with each other, and there's no really infighting or anything. And I just thought, what's the point of this segment?
Yeah, you kind of want, because Shane and Stephanie, they've been around for so long, they've been part of it for so long, and obviously Shane's been away and come back, but he's still getting the same pop that he did back then. And you just want them to, as Vince said, tear each other a new one, don't you? You want them to really get into each other, and I think everyone expected SmackDown versus Raw again. That's what everyone thought was going to happen. Shane's going to get involved, Steph's going to get SmackDown, blah, blah, blah. And I think that could actually work, which I didn't think I'd be saying. But
I was there with you. I was expecting brand split as well, which I never liked it the first time, but I could have done with. So I was behind it.
Yeah, definitely.
If done properly, because I think when they did the brand split originally, it was too soft. The tag titles were shared between the shows, and wrestlers would pop either side, stuff like that. But if they could do the brand split again, but do it have it as separate as NXT is to Raw now, it would really work.
Yeah, but because SmackDown's definitely got better over the last sort of 3 to 6 months, I'd say.
Basically, as soon as Mauro Ranallo turned up.
Yeah.
As soon as he turned up, he did kick up a notch. I'll agree with you there.
Yeah, it was like, this is somewhat of old SmackDown, and SmackDown's always going to be the second show, but.
I'm liking it. It used to be I'd watch Raw and NXT. Now I watch Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. The only thing I don't like about SmackDown at the moment is they show so many Raw replays. It drives me, because Raw do it as well. I understand why Raw do it. It sucks, but they've got a 3-hour show, so they're doing it to fill in time on Raw.
Yeah.
But SmackDown's it's a nice and neat 120 minutes without adverts. So that's nice and neat time for wrestling, and they use about 20 to 30 minutes of it just showing you what happened on Raw.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday when I watched SmackDown, I even sort of looked at it and watched it, and then I nipped out to the kitchen, came back in, and Becky Lynch and Emma were fighting. Becky Lynch and Emma.
Yeah.
And I was like, a repeat of the match from Raw, and then it was actually a replay of the match from Raw, and then I only realised when I saw all the red in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why they do that. But
sorry, I was going to say that the thing with the Shane and Stephanie segment, I think the segment at Payback should have probably been on this week's Raw. So maybe the decision should have been on Raw, because actually at Payback it was a bit of a, it was like it lasted ages, and it was kind of a, as you said, not what people wanted to see at the end.
No, it was a status quo thing. Now, do you think that, I mean, it was half an hour of Payback, everyone said it was too long. Do you think at Payback it went on longer than they planned to cover for the Enzo getting injured and their match not finishing thing?
Yeah, possibly, because as soon as that happened, the injury, I was thinking to myself, I wonder what match is going to get the
length. But none of the matches seemed particularly too long or anything like that.
No, not really. So it was possibly, because there was a lot of, Stephanie's famous snide comments and a little back and forth and whatever, but maybe they should have put a bit more length on a couple of the matches and cut that down. Yeah,
I reckon so. Well, to be honest, I think it wouldn't have left a sour taste in my mouth if we'd gotten a result out of it. If either Stephanie or Shane, I don't mind which, but one of them had got control, I'd have been cool, but he just basically went, yeah, let's just continue as it is.
Yeah.
That's half an hour I wasted to hear that. Boo, Vince, fucking boo. But, right, we'll move on. So, next thing I've got written down was Y2J versus Ambrose. I don't know why they're continuing this.
No. I mean, when you say you don't know why they're continuing it, do you mean Y2J versus Ambrose or just Y2J?
Well, actually, you make a good point. Because, I mean, me and the missus are constantly watching wrestling, and he turned up before the Rumble, Jericho, and we were like, oh, he's here for the Rumble, bit of star power. And he stayed past the Rumble, we're like, okay, maybe he's staying to, it's not Roadblock, it's, what's the pay-per-view in between? Fastlane. The worst named wrestling pay-per-view ever. But yeah, so we're like, oh, maybe he's staying to Fastlane, and then he's past Fastlane. Okay, he's doing Mania. Okay, and he's still around now. It's like, why is he still doing it? We know he doesn't need the money because Jericho's one of those wrestlers who was really clever with his money.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need the money. I am a massive Y2J in the Attitude Era fan, and all he's doing is ruining his legacy, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I like the sort of, I mean, he's Canadian, and Canadians aren't supposed to slap people in the face and say stupid idiots, believe me. Spent so much time in Canada, I know that that's not generally what Canadians do. But I do like that kind of little bit of attitude for him, but it is really grasping onto something that has been and gone. Should still be involved with the company 100%, but
maybe not as an active wrestler. Because I'm not that bothered about his persona, even though I prefer it's funny Jericho. Heel Jericho is fine for me, but it's not so much his on-screen persona, it's his wrestling. Like, I feel bad because I used to be such a Y2J fan, but I think he held back AJ Styles for quite some time.
I do as well. I liked it at first. I actually, and this is a big confession, I actually didn't mind the idea of Y2AJ for a while. I thought that was actually okay. I thought they worked quite well,
Oh yeah, no, I can see that. Well, I think once they went as the tag team, he wasn't fighting him, and it worked because I think they have a tag match against the New Day, and I think a lot of the match it was AJ and Kofi Kingston, and it was spectacular.
Absolutely.
And I was like, this is why people are excited for AJ. I mean, I'm a big TNA fan from back in the day. I've actually met AJ Styles when he was working for TNA, you know what I mean? I'm a big AJ fan, and I'm like, anybody who doesn't know who he is isn't seeing why we like him yet. And as soon as he wasn't fighting Jericho, it was like, now that's what he's like. And I just feel like Jericho, he's doing the same to Ambrose now. I think in his head, and all due respect to Jericho, he's trying to make guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's why he's there.
Yeah, I think he's there to, like, the talent vacuum. I reckon when Seth Rollins comes back, that's when we'll see Jericho go.
Yeah.
He's taking that top tier heel position. He's basically keeping it warm for Seth Rollins, in my opinion.
I agree. And I think you make a really good point as well, because the trying to make guys, does Ambrose really need making?
No, he's so over.
Yeah, you love him. Everyone love him. There's not many people who don't like Dean Ambrose, and okay, you get people like myself who can like people but give, constructive criticism, like, listen, maybe you should add a bit more to your moveset, Dean.
Yeah.
Maybe play the Insane Asylum, Ambrose Asylum a little bit more.
Stop doing that stupid bouncy thing through the ropes.
Yeah, because that was really cool at first, and it's just like, unless you're going to add something to it.
Yeah, do it once a month, don't do it every single match.
Yeah, because it takes away.
Yeah, well, at first I didn't like Ambrose. He was too wackadoo for me. I liked him in the Shield. I didn't like him on his own. He was too cartoony wackadoo. But I have liked him quite a lot recently. I think it's absolute travesty what happened to him at Mania. Didn't do him any good whatsoever.
No.
But I'm really liking his attitude. He's great on the mic. That match he had with Triple H at Roadblock was stonking. Absolutely stonking match. And when we thought he'd won, the crowd went bonkers for him. Why he isn't in what's to call him the big stupid boring guy champion? I can't. Reigns. He's so boring I forget his name. Why he isn't in the Reigns position now is beyond me. But absolutely. Jericho at the pay-per-view, I thought the match was about 5 minutes longer than it needed to be, but if you snipped out the 5 minutes that you didn't need, that match would have been really good. It's like I say, it started well, it ended well, it floundered a little bit in the middle, went a little bit too long, but generally was a decent match, but we don't need a second one.
No, it doesn't need to carry on. This is something that WWE do quite a lot. They carry things on too long sometimes.
Yeah.
I think unless it's really big, like Triple H versus HBK, literally that could still be going on now, and I'd be watching it and loving it.
Well, that's because it's HBK. No matter what he does, it's like gold.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I mean, I mentioned to you before when we were talking before. You know, my childhood and still to this day is Triple H and HBK.
Yeah.
So when those two came together, it was massive.
Oh yeah, God, it worked so well.
But these days, you know, if it's going to be Ambrose and Jericho, it's like, no, it's not going to work to carry on and on and on.
No.
So, and they did the same with Jericho and Styles. You know, that went on too long as well. So
yeah, if that was 4 weeks of TV and a pay-per-view match, and then maybe revisit that match a couple of months down the line, cool. But the same thing over and over and over again, it's a bit repetitive. I hope they move away from it, but I don't think they are. But I got to admit, I did think the plan thing was funny.
Yeah, and R.I.P. Mitch is all I can say.
Yeah, honestly, if I was Ambrose, you know what I would do? I would turn up on Raw with an absolute knackered plant, with a plant pot covered in plasters and bandages and stuff.
In a wheelchair.
In a wheelchair, yeah, exactly. That'd be absolutely belting. But that bit was funny, actually. I do like the way he treats Mitch.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jericho and Ambrose in a match, and Jericho's about to win, and then this theme music we don't recognise just hits, and it's Mitch coming down the ramp on his own, and he just belts Jericho one. I don't know how they're going to do it. Special effects have come a long way. Oh no,
what you need to do is get a bit of like fishing wire, hang it from the rope, and just have it kind of float towards the ring, and then just card Jericho's head. That'd be excellent. I'm wholeheartedly behind this.
We should be creative.
Yeah, really should. Right, next thing I've got written down for Raw was the Goldango and Gorgeous Truth angle. It's such an up and down thing for me, because on one side it's awful, they know it's awful, the crowd couldn't care less about what was happening, but on the other hand, the whole Fandango and he can't stop dancing thing is the best thing I've seen in months.
I see. Right, this is one of these things that bugs me, because Goldust, I think, is one of the most underrated wrestlers.
Yeah.
I think he's one of in all honesty, I'd say one of the best has been over the last 10-15 years as an actual wrestler. I love him, and I think he's charismatic. You can just tell whose son he is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I really, really like him. I can't tell you how much I like him. So, and I love R-Truth, and I love what he plays, but I'd like every segment to be as good, and we'll probably go on to that, but as good as the SmackDown segment, which I thought was fantastic.
That was quite good. That's the one thing with SmackDown. I wasn't really paying much attention to it. That kind of did.
You just can't help but watch. It's just,
it was funny.
I love R-Truth's selfie stick.
That is quite good. And to be honest, I have never liked anything R-Truth's done in WWE.
Right.
I've done it never works. I think him rapping to the ring, it all sounds out of time and stuff like that. It's weird because in TNA, I really liked him when he was Ron the Truth Killings. He was great in TNA, but WWE, he's always played off as a comedy character, which I don't think it worked that well. Although I will admit, in the Royal Rumble, when he turned up with a ladder,
yeah, that was
funny as fuck.
Awesome.
That was genius. I really did. But I do wonder where they're why they keep going down this angle, because the crowd aren't into it at all.
No, and I think what annoyed me, given what I just said about what I like about Goldust, what annoyed me is that they gave them then such a short match when actually the guy can really wrestle.
Yes, he can. And to be honest, I reckon if you actually give that, like, it was Tyler Breeze, and they've done nothing with Tyler Breeze, and he's a damn good wrestler.
Oh yeah,
damn good. If they'd actually give Tyler Breeze and Goldust, give them 8 minutes just to go at it, they'd give you a decent match.
Yeah.
I think they would. But then again, it's one of those things, you can have the best match in the world, if the crowd aren't behind it, it kills it dead.
Yeah.
But they could have won the crowd round possibly, because Tyler Breeze can do some pretty good high-flying stuff, and Goldust just a bag of charisma.
Yeah, he is, and it was saying what they did with him in Stardust, that had the potential to actually be a really good match. I can't remember what it culminated in now, but...
It didn't really pay off, did it? Because that was one of those ones, everyone loves their brother versus brother angle, but it just didn't pay off at all.
No one was buying it, I don't think, and then obviously, Dusty passed away, I think not long after that, wasn't it?
It wasn't far after, was it?
So it was like... But I do like the comedy angle that they're going with this, but I just think...
Some weeks it's really funny, and some weeks it's kind of crap. It's really hit and go. To be honest, I would just leave it as Goldust and Fandango, because I think those two work together so well.
I think it's great, yeah.
It's really funny.
I like Fandango as well, that's the thing. He's a good wrestler as well, actually.
Fandango is surprisingly quite good, and I think I started liking Fandango after I watched the network series Swerved. He's in that quite a bit, and he's just really, he seems like a genuinely really funny guy in real life, and I got over on that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know where they're going with it. I don't think they'll ever put these guys on a pay-per-view match, so I don't know if they'll ever have a blow-off.
No, I can't. This is what I mean. I can't see it materialising into anything because, and I'd really like it to. I'd really like there to be something, because there is a lot of seriousness these days in the WWE.
It's nice to have a bit of comedy, but that's actually funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Because to me, Hornswoggle and Santino,
no.
That's why I stopped.
I could get over with Santino sometimes, but definitely not. I didn't really agree with the Hornswoggle thing. I think it's 21st century. You can't be using people's disabilities
as jokes. Yeah, because that was the joke, wasn't it? This guy's disabled.
Look how small he is. Isn't it funny? It's just like...
It's a bit fiery.
Yeah.
Right, we'll move on. So what I've got next is the #1 contendership battle royal, which I loved. Yeah, because I had no idea we were having that. I'd been a bit down lately on the US title because I hadn't been using it properly. It'd been getting pre-show matches on pay-per-views, but no airtime on Raw whatsoever. Kalisto's a great champion, but he's had next to nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But then you get a battle royal. Everyone loves the battle royal. Battle royals are fun.
Absolutely.
We got to see Damien Sandow on Raw. Oh, if only we knew at the time.
Oh, for the last time.
For the last time. But the Battle Royal, I thought was really good, and then the ending killed me.
Yeah. You just thought, out of all those guys, I kind of didn't want Ryder to win.
From the start, who did you want to win at the start? Before we knew who was getting to the end, who was your guy at the very start of the Rumble?
See, at the very start,
yeah,
I've got to admit it was Ryder.
Right.
Just because it's Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
But I think as it got to the end, I thought, no, because given his NXT commitments, and he's still doing hype bros, and he's still going along with that line,
yeah,
and doing quite well still in that, I just thought, actually, I don't care who wins as long as it's a really good match.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was obviously Rusev kind of ruined it for me, because I thought, well, give someone else a shot. He's had that massive US title reign, and yes, he actually made a good champion. Loved the matches between him and Cena, by the way. I thought they were great. But
we've been there, we've seen that, we've done it.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing, isn't it? As we said about doing Jericho Ambrose over again, or doing Jericho Styles. Just give us something new, give us something to get excited about, give us something we don't expect.
But my worry is that if they're putting Rusev there, if Rusev gets the title, he's going to have it around about the same time that Cena's coming back.
Yes, so then are we going to have Rusev Cena?
Again, well, yeah, and I know it actually worked the first time, and it led to Cena doing the US Open Challenge, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
But we've been there, we've had that.
Yeah.
It should have been someone else. Like, from the start of the match, I thought it was going to be Apollo Crews.
Yeah, actually, I did have that thought myself.
Because I thought Apollo Crews is a fantastic talent, but they have no idea what to do with him.
Yeah, and I'm really, because of that, I think I'm not entirely sold on him in WWE yet.
No, well, that's the thing. There's no motivation. And if you just watch him having squash matches against the Outcasts every week, you can't get behind that, can you? No. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed when he went out, but I was really up for Zack Ryder winning that. I was up wooing and everything. Oh, what was that?
Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's like, I just thought to myself, they're not going to give him it. They're just not going to give him it. Not after what they gave him at WrestleMania, which was a travesty afterwards.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, but you know, it's. I just thought when it got down to the final two, it at least didn't give something predictable. So as you said, didn't know who was going to win it. When it got down to Rusev, because of the build-up with Ryder, and he started eliminating people after being down, and you didn't know whether it was actually going to be Ryder or Rusev. So I'll give them that. You know, they kept me guessing.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit disappointed it was Rusev, to be honest. Just give someone else a go.
Even if it was to be honest, even if it wasn't going to be Ryder, I think Alberto Del Rio might have been the guy for it.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, he had the title, but it wasn't like he had a run with it, really, was he?
No, he didn't really have a run. He just doesn't seem as. What's the word? Oh yeah, good. As it was last time he was in WWE. You know, when he was.
I'm the opposite opinion. I hated him the first time he was in.
Really?
I never understood it. I thought, who is this guy? Pardon me. Who's this guy? Why is he at the top? What's going on? I didn't get it. But I didn't see him turn up. I kind of, at the time, I was flitting in and out. So I put on, I just went to, I think it was probably the Rumble or something. I watched it and he was there and I was like, who's he? Why has he won the Royal Rumble? What's going on? But
yeah, it is difficult when you are sort of in and out of it. You're during that time, you come back and you see people.
Yeah, but I didn't see what people see. Since he came back, they haven't done anything with him, but I like his attitude. He's a really angry, really mean wrestler, and I really like that. I just think he could do with a good angle, and usually they revolve around titles.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like, and I'm glad you've given me an opportunity to get this off my chest.
Go over it.
I don't like, you know, when he goes for his finisher, I can't remember the name, in the corner.
That stupid ass move, yeah.
Yeah, and what annoys me about that, right, okay, there's a lot of moves in WWE that would never happen in real life, if you like.
Yeah.
But you can play them off. Now, I'm sorry, but if I was in a corner in real life and my legs were dangling, the one thing I wouldn't do to a guy who comes down on you with both his feet is hold on to the ropes.
Yeah, absolutely right, Mike. I have been saying this for weeks. It's the dumbest move. It is literally the dumbest move. It's only worked once, and that's when the other members of the League of Nations held him up. That's the only time it worked. Now, to me, I've seen that move done before, but there was no build-up to it. The guy was hung up, and the other guy just ran up, and then, I think he jumped on the other side of the rope and just leapfrogged over and did it. There was no waiting. It was within 4 seconds.
Yeah, which is fine.
Which it makes sense because you haven't got time to think, shit, I better let go. Because it looked like the guy was just trying to get up, and the other guy hit him with it. But Alberto stands there for ages.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh well, I better hold myself here. No, that makes no sense.
It's the equivalent of having a table in the ring, being lying down on the mat and not on the table. Someone goes up to the turnbuckle and you think, you know what, I'll lie on this table.
Yeah.
You know, it's just ridiculous and it just doesn't go over. That's all with me.
Absolutely right. We're all in it. You know, we all understand what wrestling is and we're all going along with it, and that's fine. But you have to meet us halfway.
You've got to, because I will never ever buy that move.
No one is. But have you noticed how he hasn't hit it lately?
Yeah, he has seemed to.
I think he tried it on Kalisto 3 times and Kalisto dodged, and he tried on AJ and AJ dodged. So I think it's getting phased out.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that was the sort of end of it, and then I'll start taking it a bit more seriously.
Yeah. So what do you think? You think Rusev's going to take the title against Kalisto, or do you think Kalisto's going to keep it?
I think Kalisto's going to be tame. I think they're really pushing Kalisto as Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
It's just like the little guy versus the big guy, and they're bringing it in. I don't know who I'd like to see take the title from Kalisto. That's an interesting one.
It's a hard one. I'm not a Ryback fan, but I was actually up for Ryback taking it.
Yeah, possibly.
Not now.
No, not now.
No, not now.
Bar some miracle.
Yeah, but I could see Rusev taking it off him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought both times Ryback was going to take it off him, so I like it. That's one thing with WWE. I love it when I'm proven wrong.
Yeah, true.
Unless it's Roman Reigns. Right, so we'll move on. Next thing I've got down is Cesaro versus Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
What a match!
Yeah.
My man, KO. He is the next Stone Cold, if you ask me.
I think so. I think he's got the right. I think different from Stone Cold in a lot of ways. He's talking and he's more of a whiner, but the good whiner. You know, WWE does whiners really, really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but I mean, Kevin Owens is, I'd say, is my man as well. Love him.
Yeah.
Cesaro, I love Cesaro.
Oh, it's one of those things. Cesaro is. I've always thought it was. I think it was a while back, maybe about 7 or 8 months. Oh, it'd be longer than that actually. But I never thought much of Cesaro. Then I seen an absolutely nothing match on Raw. It was him versus Daniel Bryan on Raw for no apparent reason, just a whatever match, and it was stonking.
Yeah.
And I thought Cesaro was great ever since then. I just thought his mic work isn't quite there. But it's getting to the point now where his mic work hasn't improved, but he's just so good in the ring, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I remember the Stone Cold podcast with Vince McMahon, and Stone Cold is a massive fan of Cesaro.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying to Vince, why isn't Cesaro getting a push? And Vince actually said...
I don't know.
Well, yeah. I think he actually said something about there's a few language barriers there which need to be overcome. So I think he's improved on that. But what I love about Cesaro at the minute is the whole coming in like James Bond and then just ripping the suit off.
That's super cool. The first time when he did it, I didn't know he was going to do it. That was super cool. That was fantastic.
Obviously this week where he's... Or was that SmackDown? I can't remember which one, but either one. When he actually did it while he was legging it down to the ring. That was...
Oh, I think that might have been SmackDown because I didn't notice.
Yeah, it might have been SmackDown actually. He actually did it while he was sprinting down to the ring, and I thought, wow. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of male strippers, but
you could turn for this one.
Yeah, I could watch that dude do that all day.
Well, I thought the match was, as Kevin Owens generally is, that match was great. And yeah, we got a smush finish, but I'm liking where we're going with this 4-man feud for the IC title.
I do. I will blow my own horn and say I predicted it.
Yeah.
As soon as Payback, I said to my missus, you know, that's going to be a fatal 4-way, and it's probably going to be an Extreme Rules match at the pay-per-view, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I mean, Sami Zayn's one of my top guys. Absolutely love Sami Zayn. So Kevin Owens is my top guy. And you got Cesaro, another one of my top guys. The Miz is someone I have never liked until he had that match with Zack Ryder for the IC title when he got the rematch for it, I think it was.
Yeah.
Because it was great.
It was actually, and he can, again, it's another one of those guys that you have to remind yourself, he can wrestle.
Yeah.
And they've given over so much this thing of, well, Miz isn't there because he can wrestle, he's there because he's an entertainer.
Yeah.
You know, and still not sure on the Miz Maurice thing.
No, Maurice, I'm not thinking on. I like the idea of Miz having a valet. She fluffs the mic all the time.
I don't think she's got, I'm going to be really harsh,
yep.
I don't think she's got any talent whatsoever.
I actually agree. Do you know why she's there? The actual reason she's there is because they Total Divas.
Oh, right, yeah.
TV show. My missus watches that, so by proxy I watch it as well.
Yeah.
And basically what's happening there is the Bellas are getting taken off it and getting their own show.
That's right, yeah.
And they need to fill up space, so they have brought Maurice in on Raw, but primarily because she's going to be on Total Divas as well. So the only reason she's on the wrestling show is to necessitate her being on Total Divas.
Yeah, because they met, didn't they, Miz and Maurice, through the Raw Diva search, if I remember rightly. Yeah, and she came, and that was awful. Anyway, there wasn't many, apart from, I think the Bellas came in through the Diva search, didn't they?
And they can go back that way if they want.
Yeah, but they're the only ones who really came through it that had, you know, whether we agree.
You've actually tried to wrestle.
Success, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Miz, Maurice, what match was it though? Kevin Owens, Cesaro.
Because they interrupted, didn't they? Because he became.
No, it's fine. This is what I do. I just get it all in my head and then it spins round forever. But if Kevin Owens has got the potential to be at Stone Cold Steve Austin level, for that to work, I think the WWE really need to keep up with this new era thing.
Oh yeah.
It has to not go back to the Attitude Era because that's impossible, and I don't think I would want it to in this day and age.
No, I don't think I think back in the day I could watch it, but I think I was very juvenile, and I think I'd prefer it to the current product, but it is starting to go in the right way. I would have preferred the Attitude Era compared to the product last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
This year, it's up and down, but it's at least facing the right direction.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know what I mean?
Most people who make Facebook posts and do change.org positions to bring the Attitude Era back are actually 12-year-old kids who were never even alive during the Attitude Era.
Exactly.
So it doesn't really matter, you know, it can't go in that society. But Kevin Owens can bring part of the Attitude Era, which was great, into this new era, so...
Absolutely. It's the actual attitude part of the Attitude Era that he's got.
Exactly.
Which is good. But when most people complain about wrestling, the main thing they all complain about is our next subject, Roman Reigns. Boo! Right, this is the first podcast, I'll get this out right now. Anyone who doesn't already know me, I hate Roman Reigns. The character. Don't get me wrong, I think in the ring, he's actually good. I think his finishing moves are bollocks. I'm sorry, the Superman punch is daft, and the spear is the most overused and boring wrestling move ever.
Yeah.
And he is rubbish on the mic. I don't blame Roman Reigns for this though, because Roman Reigns is who he is, and he gets told, you're going to the top and you're getting the title. He's not going to say no, is he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you work for, isn't it?
Exactly. So I don't blame Roman Reigns for Roman Reigns. I blame Vince for Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns could be something good when he's right, and he's not right yet.
Yeah, I agree, and it's obvious to, I think, everyone in the world, even people who didn't watch wrestling, it's obvious that a heel turn is massively needed.
Yeah.
Because it's the only way. One of the things with Roman Reigns is as well is he comes out and he does the tough guy. I'm not even going to say the guy.
Don't do it. You're better than that.
I know, I won't do it. But he comes out and he does the tough guy and he's like, I'm big, I'm bad, blah blah blah. But then he does all the Make-A-Wish stuff, which is very public, and he does all the nice stuff backstage. Now, the reason John Cena couldn't do heel turn when everyone was booing him was because he's such a good guy outside of the ring.
Yeah.
He just couldn't do it. So, Reigns can still do heel turn, but still be that good guy outside the ring. It's not impossible. No,
everyone understands now it's a character.
Yeah.
But we'll run this on. So basically, we had the six-man tag. You had Bullet Club. Well, sorry, the club. AJ and his buddies, whatever they're calling it. They had those guys versus the Usos. Boo! And Roman Reigns. Boo! I actually thought it was a decent match.
Yeah, I think it was decent. I think it was.
It didn't further the story, unfortunately. I thought it was good wrestling, but didn't further the overall story, so I was a bit kind of, yay, but no.
Yeah, I think SmackDown did.
Same thing.
Already, SmackDown did a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea of the Usos getting behind Reigns, and I'm just going to say Bullet Club.
We'll call it Bullet Club.
Yeah, Styles. I like that, but I just think that you've got to do something more with it, which maybe they're going to do now. Yeah,
well, it seems like they should have done it at Payback, but they're obviously hinting something. To me, it's either Roman Reigns turns heel and he's the head of Bullet Club, AJ turns heel and he's head of Bullet Club, or Finn Balor turns up and he's head of Bullet Club and gets somebody else. And it feels like one of those things is coming, but we don't know which, and they just seem like they don't want to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, I get that feeling.
Yeah.
Like almost holding back.
Yeah, but Raw, like I said, the match was great, but didn't further anything, so it was like, yes, I enjoyed the match, and the match was really fun, but if I'd missed that match, I wouldn't have missed any story.
Exactly, yeah.
Which was a bit of a shame, but we'll move on to SmackDown, because I watched SmackDown, and the only thing I wrote was nothing of consequence. I thought the main match ended up as the same six-man tag as Raw, and it was a good match, but to me, it didn't further anything either. Again.
No, I don't think. I think it probably did a little bit more than Raw. There was a bit more sort of emotive actions and language used. Developing, but
still, the headlines were the same. AJ isn't a bad guy yet. Roman isn't a bad guy yet. They're not Bullet Club. They're just a bunch of friends. All the taglines are still the same, even though the wrestling was really good.
Yeah, and it was, and I do like sometimes just a good wrestling match, but repeat of the main event in Raw, so it was like, well, even if this is a good wrestling match, it was a good wrestling match on Raw.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to see it again. Something that we probably mentioned, 3 times already in this podcast.
Yeah, is that we don't want to see the same thing over and over.
Exactly.
Did you see anything on SmackDown that grabbed your attention? Because, like I say, to me, I'll be totally honest with you, someone give me a Batman colouring book, and I had 2 pages left to do, and that held my attention more than SmackDown, and that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I did see your colouring, by the way. I thought it was awesome.
It's not bad, I thought.
Very good stuff.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. I am telling you.
So SmackDown, I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't until recently start watching SmackDown regularly again.
Yeah.
Because of reasons I've said before, I thought it went really, really poor.
Yeah.
Even in comparison to some of the poor stuff on Raw, it was really bad. So, grabbed my attention on SmackDown. I've got to say, we've got to talk about the Darren Young promo. Did you see that?
That was funny as hell.
That was great.
See, I heard about it before I seen it. I thought, Bob Backlund, that's not going to work. And then they did it, and it was brilliant.
It was just ace because, And what the best bit of it was, I was sort of laughing like, oh yeah, that's funny. And then when it just came to the end bit where it says, we're gonna make Darren Young great again, I thought, yeah, that's great, just to completely take the piss out of yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
He said, let's do that, because actually there was a point when I was really big in this company because people liked me. And I like Darren Young, and I've got to say on that note, as a person, to come out in
wrestling is brave.
It's like coming out in football over here, you know, no one does it. So what he did for the sort of LGBT community and everything by coming out in wrestling was fantastic, and I would like to see him get back involved.
And it's one thing that with WWE, we know how stupid WWE can be. I was shocked they never ran with that as an angle.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they didn't, because that would have been terrible. But you would have thought WWE would have done that because of how insensitive they can be.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't think I'd mind it to pass a heel character over a little bit, as long as it wasn't consistent.
Oh, do you remember Orlando Jordan?
Yes.
That wasn't well handled.
Yeah, not at all.
Not at all. I'm just glad that they didn't change him. That's the thing. I think that's the best way of putting it. They didn't change him after he came out because he's still the same person. And I have to give WWE a bit of respect for that, because I would have thought they would have mishandled it and went, oh, all right, we better write that into his character that he's gay. No, he's just who he always was. It's just public knowledge now, and I'm glad WWE followed that line, but they just didn't capitalise on his kind of the star that they had in him.
No, well, there was also Billy and Chuck. Remember Billy and Chuck?
Oh, Billy! I seen the first ever match they wrestled live. It was Rebellion 2001.
Yes.
They were supposed to fight each other, and for some reason they opened a tag instead, and I was there.
You were there? Wow.
That was back when WWE ran pay-per-views in Manchester.
Yeah, that's right. Rebellion was always.
It was always the English one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the main event was Austin versus The Rock for the title, and I was there.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm incredibly jealous now.
Oh yes. Well, we'll quickly we'll spin through NXT because it's a short show and there's not a lot goes on week by week, just a bit of building to the pay-per-views. But we had a couple of things happen. I've got down here Nia Jax still sucks, and there's not really much more I can add to that.
Yeah, no, I agree there.
She's terrible. She looks like she should be awesome, and she finishes a leg drop. Yeah. I'm not going to spend time on her until she spends time on working out some power moves.
I mean, my missus made a really good point in the fact that it is nice to see, a slightly bigger woman.
Aye. Yeah.
It's nice to see that.
I'll agree, but she needs to be able to wrestle well.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter if you're big, small, white, black. If you can't wrestle, you just can't wrestle. So. Yeah, there's be room for improvement. I'm not sure. When she came out, I thought, here we go. She's going to be choke slamming and power bombing and all this, and we got none of that. And it's just been now a disappointment. But we'll quickly move on. So Eric Young made his debut on NXT. Yeah.
Time to dust off my old TNA Eric Young t-shirt.
Yeah, I thought it was a good debut, but I thought maybe a little bit of a disappointment that there wasn't a bit more in that opening segment. I know NXT don't do segments like as much as WWE do, which is a thing in the most part, but I would have liked to have seen a real face-to-face.
Yeah.
The guys know each other well, and just...
Well, this is the thing I think they're trying to avoid, is that... I know Eric said, you know me, and I thought, they don't like you acknowledging TNA.
Yeah, don't mention it.
Don't mention TNA, it never happened. But I thought, came out, it was short and sweet, but it worked. I thought the match they had was very good. Glad to see Eric Young over. I just hope that Eric Young always has two characters. He either has the silly Eric or he has the mean psychopath Eric. And I always think he's better as a comedy character.
Yeah. And
I hope they go with that, because he was, to me, when Santino was doing his stuff, Eric was doing his, and Eric was doing it, but he could legitimately fight as well, and that's what made it funny.
Yeah, I think so. One thing out of the match that really got me out my seat was Joe's dive through the
rope. Oh, yeah.
Travels like Superman, like he had a cape on.
Yeah, I haven't, not to my mind, I could be completely wrong with this, but I don't remember him ever doing that to anybody else.
No, I seem to remember him doing it to Balor in one match, but nowhere near to that extent where he literally, I mean, I think Eric Young was a good 7 feet away from the actual apron. Mm-hmm. So to make that travel, I mean, he's not a small guy, is he, Joe, at all? No. So to see him do that was awesome. I thought that was great, really good match.
To be honest, Joe, as much as I love him in TNA, and I'm a massive TNA fan, not TNA, sorry, NXT fan, I always say them wrong, I'm a big NXT fan. As much as I like him, I want to see him turn up on Raw and destroy everybody.
Yeah, I can see that.
But he's he's another one of those wrestlers who I've liked since TNA, and I've also met him as well. And he's a really nice guy. You don't believe how nice he actually is in real life. Really polite, really pleasant, really just dead nice guy to talk to.
I have seen some out of character interviews with him, and he comes across like that. And it's so, when you're so into the character, it's so weird to see
someone be so nice.
But it's testament to him and how he plays the character. I think that he plays that character perfectly, and it's not got too much gimmick to it. It's just, you know,
it's just I'm badass. I'm gonna rip you a new one.
Yeah,
it's modern day Taz, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely.
The last point I've got about NXT, you know, it was a decent night of wrestling, but at the end it gave us Finn Balor returns to NXT next week. Why? Why did they hotshot the title off him and off TV and then not capitalise on it?
Yeah, and I kind of hope that they're not going to go back to Balor and Joe now, are they?
I honestly don't know, Mike, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, the two matches they had pay-per-view wise were fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
They were absolute knockdown, drag-out brilliance, but they had two. Finn won both of them. Move on.
Yeah.
And he did, and everyone thought Finn Balor was going to lose at Brooklyn, then turn up on Raw the next night. That's what everyone expected. Finn Balor retains at Brooklyn. Oh, no, sorry, not Brooklyn, Texas. So everyone's like, okay, so he's not going up yet. And then he loses it on a house show. So everyone's like, oh, right, they must be bringing him out on Raw, but like, emergency. So he doesn't turn up on Raw. So everyone's like, oh, it must be Payback. He doesn't turn up on Payback. Oh, okay, is it the Raw after? Nope. And it's like, why did you take the title off him? And I watched Finn Balor win that title from Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And I've watched him retain it the whole time, and I didn't get to see him lose it. And a lot of people didn't. Which is fine if there's a reason for doing that.
Yeah, because when I first heard what had happened, I was like, that's clever to do it in that setting. It's different, and it's actually got Triple H all over it, that kind of creative mind. But then, like you said, when it was sort of led to nowhere for Balor, I was like, well, what does this mean? And then when I saw the end segment, and the reason I mentioned about are they going to do the match again is because the end segment was all him and Joe.
Yeah.
And I didn't know whether that was saying, well, this is what happened, you know, like previously on NXT.
Yeah.
And then Finn Balor's back next week, or whether it was, no, this guy's back for revenge. It's like, no, move on.
No, move on. Honestly, if it was me, Finn Balor goes to Raw, Nakamura goes for the NXT title.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Right, well, we'll move on to this week's news then, because we've fairly covered the wrestling for the week. So, in the big news this week, first we'll go through the WWE releases a buttload of people in their usual spring cleanup.
Yes, they have.
It's so weird that they do this, because they do this every year, don't they? They just have a cleanup every spring and fire a load of people.
Yeah, it's kind of, you can just sort of see Vince getting every superstar in a big line backstage and going, yes, yes, no, yes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So I'll go through the list of who was fired. So we got, well, not fired, but let go, not renewed, whatever. So we've got Alex Riley.
Yes.
I can see it. I think there's a talent there, but they don't have anything for him. He's kind of been on NXT a little bit. He's spent a lot of time injured.
But wasn't he supposed to be fighting next week? Wasn't he supposed to be fighting
Nakamura?
Yeah.
Next week. Remember Bull Dempsey, when Bull Dempsey left?
Yeah.
Bullfit. He was on TV. He was on TV for a month and a half after he'd left.
Yes.
Weird.
It is very strange.
Very strange. But yeah, Arai's gone. We got Cameron. Good.
Yeah.
Did you ever see her on Tough Enough when she was asked what her favourite match was, and she said, what was it, Alicia Fox versus Melina?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the bin.
Yeah. No,
right.
No chance.
El Torito, which is probably the highest talent on the list. Unfortunately, there was no other small men for him to fight.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there was one other, but he's gone as well. He's
gone. He was rubbish anyway. He wasn't a proper wrestler. But hopefully, I reckon El Torito might end up in Lucha Underground. And if he does, he'll be welcome there, because that's where he should be.
Yeah, because he has actually got a lot of talent.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Incredible.
But you can't have him fighting, regular sized guys. It would just look like wouldn't work. He'd be a bit daft. So,
yeah.
Hornswoggle, who I have absolutely no idea how he was still employed.
No.
Absolutely not. WLC is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, but less said about Hornswoggle, the better.
Yep. Fuck that. Santino Marella, I'm glad to see him go. I'm sorry. You can have funny characters, but having comedy characters, it doesn't work. Are you a funny guy or are you a wrestler? You know what I mean?
I kind of like some of the stuff he did in his day, but I kind of think that, well, I don't know how he stayed on for so long. Apparently, he's a really good guy backstage to have.
Yeah, I imagine he's a nice fella, but he's a children's entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all he ever was. And Zeb Coulter. Zeb Coulter is obviously he's Dirty Dutch Mantel. Decent manager, but you know the We the People thing didn't last very long. Outside of that, there hasn't been much point in being around, so I can understand that.
Yeah.
And then the big one, Damien Sandow.
Aww.
I know. Oh, I swear to God, right, today I thought, actually, I'm going to watch Superstars, because I've got the network, and, you know, I've never watched it. I wonder if we're going to get any good matches. Do you know what the first match on Superstars this week was? Damien Sandow versus Darren Young.
Really?
Yeah, and he was actually quite good. I was just like, oh, man. He's someone who is a good wrestler, a good talent, seems like a good guy, and creative had no idea what to do with him.
No, because the whole Mizdow thing was one of the best things WWE have done in the last few years. It was hilarious, I thought his character, the way he played that.
The Miz thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it was funny as fuck.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good. It actually made the Miz bearable.
Yeah. It did. It worked for the Miz and for Mizdow, Sandow.
Yeah. But, no, I think that's, that there is a failure on WWE's part, not on his. I think everybody else was like, they could have been a bit better, or they weren't. I couldn't see it to start with. But Damien Sandow, that's a failure on WWE's part, not to get him over.
And I think there's one you've left out, isn't there?
Have I? Oh, Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett.
That's quite a big one if you look back.
It's a big one, but it's an odd one as well because he'd already stated that he wasn't going to renew his contract.
Yeah.
So we already kind of knew it was coming anyway.
Yeah, and I do feel sorry for him a bit because obviously he was part of Nexus. He was smart.
God, it didn't work though. It started off so well and it was so kiboshed.
Yeah, it was kind of. I think it was, and I like John Cena, by the way. So
yeah. Oh, I'm a Cena fan. Yeah.
Anyone listening, don't think I'm bashing Cena. I'm not, but I think the way that they played it with Cena killed off Nexus.
Oh God.
And you obviously got a couple of, a semi-star and a big star in particular coming out of that, but. No, I think he had some talent. I think there was a few things they could have done with him, but as you say, he didn't want to renew, and I think that was probably because they didn't know what to do with him. Yeah, to be honest, he's been there 6 years. He's probably made good money. I hope he's made good money, and now he can just live his life, do what he wants. Yeah, hopefully. But the other big news this week, we had the Ryback situation, which is absolutely bonkers and came out of left field for me. Yeah, I'm torn on this. I don't know about you.
Well, yeah, it's weird. So anyone who doesn't know, obviously if you listen to this you probably do, but basically Ryback is in contract disputes with WWE, and it's not about money or perks, it's purely about fairness. And Ryback believes that the people who win get paid more than the people who lose.
Yeah.
See, I read the whole thing he put on, was it Instagram or somewhere weird like that?
Yeah.
I read the whole thing, and he's basically, from his point of view, I can see what he's saying, is that where he was a couple of years ago compared to where he is now, his money has actually gone down. He's actually getting paid less than he did a few years ago. But he's not in the same place as the card that he was a few years ago.
No.
And mostly he's saying that, you know, we get told what to do, we get told whether to win, whether to lose, that kind of thing. But I don't think that's got anything to do with payments. To me, payments is about, can you draw?
Yeah.
Are you a top tier talent? Where are you in the card? Can you draw money?
Yeah, I agree. And the reason I'm torn on the situation is because I've never been a massive Ryback fan, I must admit.
Me too.
In general. And I'm not just talking about because, you know, he loses the matches, because that's creative, but
yeah.
I'm talking about, I don't think he's got the right charisma, the right act.
No.
I think this whole Goldberg type persona, you know, which he's getting some stick for, has been a bit odd.
Yeah. I hate the feed me more thing. I think that's rubbish.
Yeah, so do I. I think it worked for a little bit. One of those things again that okay, something the crowd can chant along to, but no, just change it up. But as another, and I'm talking about this from, I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to business. It's kind of my area outside of loving wrestling. Now, from a business point of view, to come out and put that all over social media when you're still in those disputes, just stupid, absolutely stupid.
I thought that was a bad move as well.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and I just think if I was employing him, and let's face it, you know, there's nowhere else for him to go where he's going to be as big.
No.
Simple as that. So, you know, you work all that time to get to that point, and then you potentially throw it all away. So I think Ryback's as good as gone. I don't think Vince and the rest of the gang will stand for.
No.
Well, they did it to AJ Lee when I love AJ Lee, but when she came out on Twitter and probably rightfully criticised the way things were going, you know, she ended up quitting because
Got pressure.
Yeah.
The thing is, you do not publicly bash the company you work for.
No.
In any business ever.
If we did it, we would be continually unemployed for the rest of our lives.
Oh yeah, I was reading my employee handbook the other day, and I'd actually get fired. It would be actually granted for dismissal, and rightfully so.
It's just the way it is. So on that sense, I thought, you know, to take a line out of Ryback's book, you know, stupid.
What, like I say, from Ryback's point of view, I can see from his point of view, he's getting paid less now than when he was a couple of years ago. That I understand, but there's circumstances why he's getting paid less than other people. I mean, to me, it's not wins and losses. If you ask me, Kevin Owens never wins.
No.
But he's always on Raw, and he's always like a main focus of about half the show.
Yeah, and he must be getting paid good money.
Oh yeah, I would have thought so. Dolph Ziggler, he's actually one of the highest paid wrestlers in the company. He never wins anything.
No.
Never. I'll tell you one thing though, the only thing that got me was on Payback, Ryback's match was on the pre-show.
Yeah.
It was one of the best matches I've seen Ryback ever have.
I agree.
It was really good, and he saved Kalisto from outright killing himself.
Yes.
When he went to that crazy manoeuvre off over the ropes. Ryback, if it wasn't for Ryback, Kalisto would quite possibly be dead or crippled.
Yeah, you do feel that sometimes Kalisto needs to be just sedated a little bit because I love his passion, but he's crazy.
Bonkers. But yeah, so I felt a bit bad since it was the first time I actually enjoyed anything Ryback had done. But we'll see where it goes. But like you say, he publicly, bashed the company. He's an idiot.
He's gone. As far as I can see, he'll be gone.
He'll be gone. So we're going to move into our last segment before we say goodbye, and we're just going to have our weekly topic, where we just pick a random topic within wrestling, have a bit of a crack about it. And today, Mike would like to talk about
Bret the Hitman Hart.
The best there was, ever will be, blah blah blah. That guy.
That one. The guy with the pink.
The pink guy. Oh yeah, I've heard of him.
Now, the reason I thought that this should be a good topic to start off with, number one, he's just been at Payback, if anyone didn't see it, which I guess you have, he was in Natalia's corner.
Yeah.
And he was part of one of the biggest controversies in wrestling history, which was obviously the Montreal Screwjob.
I've never heard about that. They've never mentioned it or recreated it ever.
No. In fact, I would have thought that they would have done something at Payback with Natalya and Charlotte. But
you would have thought so, but no, just some weird smush thing that didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it was no. But yeah, just on that note, that was ridiculous.
Oh, that was terrible. Awful. God, it was one of those. It was so obvious you didn't actually expect it to happen. Things.
Yeah, it was like, no, I didn't see it coming at all, but it was obvious.
Yeah.
But the reason I didn't see it coming was because obviously the Montreal Screwjob was Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, not Ric Flair and Bret Hart. It wasn't anything to do with that. So it was like, we're just going to do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, because Vince wasn't even involved.
No, he wasn't.
No, so it was like, why did you bother?
It was Little Rick.
Oh, Little H.
Charles Robinson has not changed a day in his face since he had from back then.
No, it's quite impressive actually. He really hasn't, has he?
No.
But he's little.
The whole Bret Hart thing, basically, lots and lots of podcasts and videos and all kinds of things have talked about the Montreal Screwjob, so I just thought, this topic, let's have a little bit of a Bret Hart discussion.
So, which end do you come down on? Are you on Bret Screwed Bret, or are you a Vince Screwed Bret guy?
I am on a Bret Screwed Bret for pretty much the same reasons that I've just talked about with Ryback.
Yeah.
When you work for that company, especially if you're leaving for WCW and it's all sorted, which it was, you do what they tell you to do.
Yep, you're an employee.
Yep, you lie down, you take the free count, you take the submission, whatever you have to do, you do what they tell you to do.
Well, that's the other thing, it's not just a case of, like, in business. In wrestling, you go out on your back.
Yeah.
And they weren't going out with any ill feeling. Before the Screwjob happened, it was quite amicable.
Exactly.
It was a case of Bret wanted to stay, but he couldn't turn down the money WCW was offering. Vince didn't want him to go, but could understand that he couldn't compete with what WCW had offered him. It was just a case of the money was too great that both of them couldn't do anything about it. So there was not animosity there, I didn't think.
And there was the other thing about the Attitude Era was starting. It was coming into that sort of era, and
Brett didn't like how people were reacting to Stone Cold, did he?
No, and also Shawn Michaels in particular.
Yes.
I think there was this. You remember the scene where he was at ringside and he stuck the Canadian
flag up his nose.
Saw those things, and Brett was all about family values and whatever.
Yeah,
so
Brett was like a mini Hulk Hogan, but without all the racism.
Yeah, time to move on, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But here's what really gets me about Bret Hart, and first of all, I'd like to say, really glad for him that he's got over.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. I'm really, really glad he's got over cancer. It's a miracle.
Yeah, brilliant,
yeah.
Absolutely, and he looked a lot better at Payback.
He looked a lot better than I expected him to look. I expected him to look like an emaciated husk, and yeah, he didn't look like he was ready to fight, but he looked comfortable, so I was quite glad about that.
Yeah, but my main problem with the whole Bret Hart thing was actually afterwards. Now, in the constant interviews, and if you're anything like me, you'll have those days where you just trawl through wrestling videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
And in the interviews afterwards, he just sounds like a bitter old man.
I didn't watch any of them. What was the base? What was he being bitter about?
I mean, there was one, and it was called Bret Hart Shoots.
Okay.
So it was about a 45-minute long interview, remember. Now, he was talking about it, and then they got onto the subject of the screw job and whatever, and he was talking about Triple H. And what he said about Triple H, because obviously he's of the belief that Triple H was in on it all and he knew about it.
Yeah.
Now, what he said about Triple H was, and this is the quote, he's never had a good match in his life, in his whole career in WWE. He's never had one memorable match. And it's like...
What?
That's exactly what he said. Honestly, I'd recommend anyone to go and watch that interview and you'll see what I'm talking about. He just sounds so bitter. Because first of all, I'll come out and say, in the interest of fairness, Triple H is my favourite. I grew up with him, love him, my favourite of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But even if I didn't like Triple H, and I never had, to say he's never had a good match is ridiculous.
That's absolutely bonkers. I can think of, two WrestleManias with The Undertaker off the top of my head, the 2 out of 3 Falls match with Stone Cold Steve Austin, the hardcore match, the 3 hardcore matches with Mick Foley, the famous ones, the Hell in a Cell, the Street Fight, and the Cactus Jack fight on Raw, and they're just off the top of my head.
Exactly, yeah. And No Way Out 2000, which was Hell in a Cell Cactus Jack for me, still one of my favourite matches to this day.
Match.
So there was things like that, and then there was other comments on there, and I just thought, it's so bitter. Now, to be fair, I believe this interview was before he came back to WWE and did the whole thing on Raw.
Right.
Michaels. Now, whether that's changed now, and whether it was, don't get me wrong, it was quite a while after the screw job.
But yeah, the screw job stayed with him for ages. From what I understand, it ruined his life. The screw job. It was like his marriage broke up because of it. He never felt like he got over in WCW because of it, and it was just a wrestling angle.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, and obviously, which side are you on? Do you think?
Brett screwed Brett. Brett screwed Brett.
Yeah.
You go out on your back. You're leaving. You can't leave with the belt. It's just you can't do that. How he thought he could is beyond me.
Exactly. And the other question is, and this is the one that people still debate to this day, is, was it actually a play by Vince? Was it even a screw job? Did they actually know? Did they know what was going to happen? Did Brett know what?
No, it's a shoot. Shawn knew, Triple H knew, the referee knew, Vince knew, that's it. Brett didn't.
Brett
didn't know.
That's what I think, and I'm not big into conspiracy theories, but there was a whole discussion about, they were filming the documentary.
It was well timed, actually, Wrestling with Shadows for that, wasn't it?
But, I think, and if anyone hasn't seen Wrestling with Shadows, by the way, it's actually, the whole thing's on YouTube as well. Go and watch that, because that's an ace documentary, whatever you think of Bret Hart, brilliant. Fascinating look into the business. But, Bret Hart for me is someone I really liked when I was younger, and the screw job and everything that happened afterwards. I don't know what his opinions are now. I don't think there's really been a candid interview with him in recent years, the last few years. So whether he still thinks the same, but I just think that he took the whole thing very badly and he acted very badly after it.
I would absolutely agree. I think it's water under the bridge now. I think it's one of those things that I think before he got back with WWE, it was a major thing. I think once he's talked to people at WWE about it, I think it's kind of went, to be honest, it just doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear, obviously anyone who's listening to this, I'd love to hear people's thoughts on, because it is a really, still to this day, on how Bret Hart acted, and also whether it was a play by Vince or whether it was, and Bret knew, and it's the biggest secret ever in WWE.
Yeah. Well, if anyone listening out there wants to, they can put their comments or questions about anything we've talked about in the podcast in the Wrestle Brawl Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook, you probably know us already. We frequent the Wrestle Brawl page, which is, I think it's literally just, if you type in Wrestle Brawl, you'll get Wrestle Brawl, wrestling chat from the Old Oil House. Old Oil House is our parent network, and Wrestle Brawl is the page that we frequent. So if you have any questions, comments, or anything you want to add to what we've been saying about Bret Hart, or anything else we've said in this podcast, you can leave messages for us there. Now, I think with that we should wrap it up here, Mike.
Yes, I've enjoyed this time with you, this intimate time with you.
It's nice to speak to someone knowledgeable about wrestling. I must say, I didn't know Simon Gotch got his name from an old wrestler until I read your article, so...
There's a nice cheap one as well. The second edition of the history of professional wrestling, called Squared Circles, is on the Wrestle Brawl Facebook page right now.
It's definitely worth checking out, because there's some lovely tidbits in there you don't know that you don't know. So it's definitely worth checking out. So, yeah, we're going to close this down. Thank you for staying with us, and we're going to try and make this as regular as we can. We might not hit every week, but when we do, we'll pull it up, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And we'll see you next time. Say goodbye, Mike.
See you later, guys.
Goodbye.
Podcast was brought to you by the Old Oil House, the public house of pop culture. Join us on our website at oldoilhouse.co.uk. Join us on Facebook at the Old Oil House and its affiliates Wrestle Brawl, Cyberwits and Growth Entertainment. Join us on Twitter and Tumblr at the Old Oil House. And if you like what you hear, why not become a patron on our Patreon page at